Cullen goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, and good morning to you. Welcome to all. It is a Tuesday. It is the 27th of October, and I could do a real rant on cars downtown, but I'll try to forgo it. Susan, you there?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, here's Susan in Chicago. You know, there's something to be said for the fact that cars no longer belong in urban settings. I mean, it's insane. And I know our city is trying to push the car people out. They're adding more and more bike lanes, everything's telling us we really don't want you here. We're not going to make it easy for you. And yet we still just keep on getting in our cars and trying.
No, and if you do that in Chicago and you drive down to the magic mile, you're going to pay $30 an hour to park.
Exactly. And that's what's happening here too. But there are enough people who do.
Well,
I don't know what you do. You know, London has an actual really steep tax that you have to pay.
It's an entry fee. You're just right.
You cannot drive a car into the London city core unless you want. But so that means the rich can.
Right.
I don't know.
But it sure made me not do it and say, would you walk to the train, Susan? Just walk to the train. It's 3 blocks that way.
That's right. Urban living, you got to walk.
Right. I do.
Yeah.
It's fun. I never pay attention to these health apps that are accidentally everywhere around us, watching our every move. But now I can't help it. It just does it for me.
You count your steps.
As long as I have my phone on me, I know how many miles I'm walking in a day.
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing. All of my long-time aches and pains that I've had in spite of exercising and everything else, and I never paid attention to them. I thought that they were all related to my back. Guess what? They're gone.
Because you're walking more.
Because I'm less sedentary.
You're urban. You're not suburban.
I'm less sedentary. I'm not sitting all the time. I have to move and walk.
Right. Well, I got a boot on my foot.
Oh, no. How are you? I forgot to ask. I remembered to ask on Friday, and then I forgot to ask.
No. I'm fine. I mean, I'm as good as can be, but still, that's why in part, drove down today. In part. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Jeez. Okay, I'm going to try to get in a better mood, okay? So...
I'm in a fine mood.
I can tell you are, and I'm glad. Let's hope it's contagious.
Ooh.
Okay.
Even though I just walked into my door, I'm in a fine
Jeez. Well, I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
So yesterday, last evening, I did an event at the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh, which is a very impressive organization that brings into the city some of the finest minds in the world and sponsor a lot of, like big to-dos. Anyway, they do this, essentially this incredible trivia contest every year. And Sally Wiggin and I were the question posers last night. And I thought some of them were really easy. So, I mean, I was... but some were really. You want to take some, Suze? You want to? Can I throw some at you?
I'm terrible at trivia.
No. You'll be pretty good at this, and you guys can play along, okay? The words alcohol, giraffe, cotton, and sofa. Alcohol, giraffe, cotton, and sofa. Originally derived from which language? I'm going to give you a multiple.
Probably Swahili.
I'm going to give you Swahili is one of the choices. I'm going to give you here are 4 possibilities: Swahili, Turkish, Arabic, Berber. Alcohol, giraffe, cotton, and sofa.
I think it's Swahili.
It's Arabic.
What is it?
Arabic.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I had to say that considering I thought of it and it was one of the options.
Well, I know. That doomed you. Okay. Listen to this. In 2009, a major company had to launch a $10 million rebranding campaign to repair the damage done when its catchphrase, which was, assume nothing, was translated in many countries around the world to do nothing. And since that didn't work, they had to redo the whole thing. What hapless company was this that had to spend $10 million rebranding? J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citicorp, or HSBC?
HSBC.
You are correct, Susan. I never even heard of them.
Well, when you travel to Europe, that's the bank that you see everywhere. So, considering it didn't translate well, that would be the one you would pick.
Oh, okay. Which country passed a law in 2008 stipulating that males with a waistline larger than 33.5 inches and women with a waistline larger than 35.4 inches had to attend dieting classes? I'm giving you 4 countries. One of them actually passed a law. China, Singapore, Japan, South Korea.
Well, I knew it was going to be one of those 4. I'm going to say Singapore.
Yeah, I think most of the people last night said Singapore too. They were all wrong.
China.
No, it's the one you least think would do it. Japan.
Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There's
no room.
Well, but can you... Right.
There's no room.
Hey, guys, we're a little island here. We got to slim down.
You take more than your share of the room.
Yeah, come on now. Mandatory dieting classes.
No rice with your fish.
So I got to tell you, the thing is that can you imagine anyone suggesting such a thing in this country? Can you imagine the...
Well, I mean, when Bloomberg
mandatory?
try and ban the,
right. Big gulps and
right.
Yeah, it's true. We don't go for that. Here's a hard one. Okay, Suze, where in the world are you? You are visiting Iguazu Falls, Mendoza, and Perito Moreno Glacier. Are you in Chile? Are you in Argentina? Are you in the Falkland Islands? Or are you in Uruguay? The Iguazu Falls, Mendoza, and...
I have no idea. I'll say the Falkland Islands.
You are incorrect, Susan. It'd be Argentina.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
you
Argentina claims the Falkland Islands. Doesn't that count? One and the same.
In July 2011, Russian President Dmitry Medvedev signed a bill that officially classified this beverage as alcoholic. This was 2011, and this beverage was declared alcoholic. I will give you 4. Vodka, beer, whiskey, or samagon.
And where is this again?
This be Russia?
Well, then it would be vodka.
Well, but it took till 2011 for him to decide that was alcohol?
Yeah.
Wrong. It's beer. I guess they didn't have beer. Being vodka drinkers, they thought of beer as just like water.
Oh, I thought it might have something to do with they're suddenly noticing that they had an alcoholism problem and classifying vodka as alcohol in order to do something about it.
No, well, obviously, I mean, they recognized that it was, but that they didn't have beer down as a alcoholic beverage.
You know, because the difference in the proofs barely made it count.
Gee,
it's liquid bread.
Here's a weird one. Listen to this.
See, I told you I'm terrible at trivia.
No, you're not. You're doing just as well as anybody did there. Listen to this one, though. Which soft drink was created by a Coca-Cola executive in Nazi Germany? Hang on. Okay, we got a Coca-Cola executive in Nazi Germany creating a soft drink. And the reason he did this is because trade embargoes had left the Coca-Cola factories without the necessary ingredients to make actual Coca-Cola. So the Coca-Cola executive in Nazi Germany came up with a new kind of pop. Was it Diet Coke, Mr. Pibb, Fanta, or Mellow Yellow?
I think it's Mr. Pibb.
You are incorrect.
It's Mellow Yellow?
It is not Mellow Yellow.
Well, what the hell is it?
It's Fanta.
Fanta? Well, what is Fanta? Was just a whole range of stuff, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know, but I ain't ever drinking it again. So it turns out Fanta was what the Coca-Cola made for the poor little Nazis because they couldn't get the Coke ingredients over there. So they came up with this new soft drink, Fanta.
Boy.
Did you? I never heard of such a thing.
No, I mean, it never occurred to me that they would go to those lengths to keep doing business in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, right. Maybe
Never
I won't
give
have
up
any
a
more
share
Coke.
Of the market, I always say.
And here I am drinking Coke. Phooey on ya. Mr. Pibb, it would seem, sounds British to me. Mr. Pibb.
Well, I was just thinking of ingredients that would be available. That's what I was trying to figure out. But
all right. Can you do a few more?
Sure, I'm happy to continue to be wrong.
To celebrate his 56th birthday in 2008, he just had another one, which would have been what? 63rd birthday.
The 7 years.
Yeah,
so.
63rd. We're talking about Vladimir Putin. But when he turned 56 in 2008, he released a DVD in which he instructs how to do a certain sport. Is it judo, yoga, boxing, or equestrian sports?
Well, I was thinking it was equestrian because I'm thinking of him riding
bareback.
bare-chested around.
Yeah. Susan, you would be incorrect. You also probably have seen him in his white, taking down people with judo.
Yeah.
He's like a black belt, I think.
Yeah.
So it was judo. Okay.
Come on, let me be wrong some more.
Okay, here's an interesting one, and also involves Putin. His grandfather, Spiridon Ivanovich Putin, was a chef who cooked for which founder of the Russian Communist Party? Yes, Vladimir Putin's grandfather actually cooked for one of the founders of the Russian Communist Party. Who'd he cook for? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah, I mean Stalin, Lenin.
Yeah, and Vladimir didn't. He looked a little like skinny, I thought. Skinny and unhappy. So I don't know how good a cook Spiridon Ivanovich.
Was it Lenin?
It was Lenin.
Oh, cool.
Putin's grandfather was a chef.
Cool.
To Lenin. Who knew? All right. Here's one you maybe could remember. Now we'll head back to the 2012 American presidential race.
I'm getting older, and my short-term memory isn't so great. But go ahead.
Which U.S. presidential candidate earned public rebuke from Prime Minister David Cameron when he questioned how prepared London was to host the Olympics?
Oh, I even remember that.
Yes, you do.
Well, it had to be Mitt Romney.
Yes, it was Mitt Romney. And you remember why Mitt Romney was able to make this criticism?
Because he used to be head of the Olympic Committee.
No, because he came to he saved the Olympics.
The Olympic Committee.
No,
yeah.
He saved a specific Olympics that were in wherever, Colorado, somewhere
LA
in the Southwest. Something like that. He rode to the rescue. Okay. You'll know this one. Australia's agriculture minister accused Johnny Depp of smuggling.
It wasn't him, actually. It was his wife, Amanda Heard, and it was their dog.
See, you're so up on stuff. He smuggled what into Australia while making Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean?
Yeah,
right?
their dog.
Yeah. The choices were prescription drugs, an iguana, food, or Yorkshire Terriers.
Yorkshire Terrier.
Okay. Here's a goodie.
But they're wrong. It wasn't Johnny Depp.
Okay,
and in fact, she was charged.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but no one knows.
She was charged. She can't go back there. She's in trouble.
Oh, someone's telling us, Margie's telling us your picture is, as usual, your face down amidst the rubble of my...
Hey!
Well, I mean, there. And now
it's okay. That picture doesn't look like me anyway.
It doesn't matter. There you are, Suze. Oops. There, sort of. Okay. This is a good one. In 2009, this European prime minister told a reporter that the 17,000 people left homeless by an earthquake that had just happened, quote, should see it like a weekend of camping. What? Can you imagine?
No.
Okay. It's a clown. The guy was a clown. He's not it's classic that he would have said it.
Okay, so, I mean, what was it, Will Rogers?
No! It's a prime minister of a European country.
Who's a clown? The Italian guy.
Yes, it was Berlusconi.
Berlusconi, right.
Berlusconi. He actually said So there's 17,000 homeless people scattered among the hills after an earthquake, and he says, listen, stop your whining. You should see it like
Just pretend you're camping, right? Well, he was having, what were his parties called? Boom-bity booms or whatever?
What were they called? Pago Pago or Rumba. What were those parties he had? Those parties with all the hookers and stuff. Something absurd.
Where is he these days?
He's, I think, still trying to stay out of jail.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, whether he never got there.
I don't think he ever served because, the Italian justice system is a piece of work. So you can get tried 5,000 times, and then there's a million other opportunities.
Well, I know. I mean,
what's her name?
Yeah, is
right.
Certainly not learned that.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, Berlusconi. Okay, here's one you might remember as well. The Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating, the cyclist Louis Garneau, and Michelle Obama all committed what etiquette faux pas with the Queen of England?
Michelle hugged her, put her arm around her.
That is correct. They all touched her.
Uh-huh.
They put their arms around her. All right, still in England, the Russian embassy claimed diplomatic immunity for 2 of its guard dogs after the dogs did what? Bit a British aristocrat, attacked local sheep, caused a serious car accident, or ran all over a rose garden.
I think attacked some sheep.
That is correct. Okay, have we had enough?
No, but I'm getting better.
Okay, here's one. This is interesting. Which of these languages, I'm going to give you 4 languages, is considered a linguistic isolate? In other words, it has no
origins other than itself. Yeah.
It is not in any way related to any other language. It is one, and it's a oneer. It's unique. Is it Swahili? Is it Hebrew? Is it Catalan? Or is it Basque?
I think it's Basque.
Why?
I can't remember why. It's just niggling at me.
Well, because it is Basque.
Yeah,
it's a mountainous little
totally
region.
Separate. I mean, it's just part of the separatist stuff.
But it's geographically isolated. Too.
Isolated as well, and the others just didn't make sense to me anyway.
Well, you know Hebrew and
I know Hebrew.
And Aramaic and Arabic all are a lot alike.
Right.
I don't know what. I don't know. After a long civil war, which nation became the world's newest country in July of 2011? Kosovo, East Timor, Serbia, or South Sudan?
It's South Sudan.
Yeah, and God help it.
Yeah.
They became the newest country. Remember, they were all celebrating and everything, and then all hell broke loose again.
Boy, my average is going way up.
All right, Suze. Which country divided into 2 parts in the Velvet Divorce of 1993? Yugoslavia, Germany, USSR, or Czechoslovakia? The Velvet Divorce of 1993.
The first one.
The first one. Yugoslavia?
Yeah.
No, because stop and think what Yugoslavia is today.
Oh, now that's Bosnia and Serbia.
You want to take a second?
What are my choices again?
Yugoslavia, Germany, USSR, and Czechoslovakia.
Well, then it has to be Czechoslovakia.
Yes, of course, it's Czechoslovakia. All right, Suze, you are now standing in an Australian city. The main street is Flinders Street. There are also many yellow and green trams around. Do you have any idea where you are?
Sydney.
Pick another.
Melbourne.
You are correct.
It was fun to
Melter.
do.
I'm glad you could think of two. Oh, Margie, thank you. Berlusconi's parties were bunga bunga parties.
Oh, bunga bunga. That's right.
I was thinking that Berlusconi, you can think, how does a clown like that get to be a prime minister of a country?
Well, that's why you can't laugh about Trump.
That's right. And I was going to say he is a Trump-like figure in that he was a major sort of known entity. He also owned, he was sort of a Rupert Murdoch of Italy, in that he owned, I believe, the TV stations, the this, the that. So he had the media that he controlled. And he was this character who lived large, unapologetically, and was full of bravado, and this disgusting macho posturing. And he did it. But Trump, as we have learned today, is starting to fade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
boy,
leaves us.
Ben Carson's in the
No,
lead.
I know. So that leaves us with Ben Carson.
But that gets me back to my original thing. That now what do? They couldn't take orders from a Democratic black guy, so now what are they going to do?
Well, this guy, though, I would pick Trump over him in a minute. I think Carson is insane.
Yeah, I do too, a little bit, I have to say.
I really do think he's nuts. I thought I sent myself something, and I must have, somehow it didn't get to me. But speaking of insane, I saw an email that, what's her name? Kim Davis sent to her supporters. It was mind-blowing. Where did I see it? Damn it.
Well, maybe she'll run for vice president.
But what it does, Susan, is show how these people are not just, public servants who happen to feel strongly about that. They really are what is called dominionists. They want the government. They want their biblical law to supersede civil law.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to, damn it, why don't I have it? Kim Davis's email, because it is mind-boggling.
Well, I think I've been saying for a long time that this ties in with the Second Amendment stuff. I truly think that there is a group that is plotting and is getting ready for the violent overthrow of the country.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Here it is. Listen to this. And this was right before she's going to be sent to jail, right? Here's what she emails. And there's a million exclamation points throughout. Everything but, I don't know. It has truly been a firestorm here, and the days are pretty much a blur. But I am confident that God is in control of all. I desire your prayers. I will need strength that only God can supply, and I need a backbone like a saw log. They are going to try and make a whipping post out of me. I know it, but God is still alive and on the throne. He is in control and knows exactly where I am. September 1 will be the day to prepare for if the Lord doesn't return before then. I have weighed the cost and will stay the course. Well, this sounds like a frigging lunatic. And as somebody said, these are not the words of a public servant attempting to do her taxpayer-funded job. They're not even the words of a conflicted religious person attempting to accommodate her faith and her public duties. These are the words of a religious fanatic who views herself as the protagonist in an epic biblical battle between good and evil.
Right, and who apparently lied when she took her oath in which she swore to
Right.
uphold the law of the land.
Right,
Because
exactly.
nobody's a public servant without taking an oath, and that's basically what the oath says.
And so she took the oath but lied
Yeah.
when she took it.
So we start out as being a liar. She's a liar.
And she swore on God's name
Right.
because you say whatever. I'm sure the oath said something about God. So she, well,
Well, in a lot of places, your hand's on a Bible. I mean, when I got sworn into the bar, my hand was on a Bible. When I got sworn onto the school board, my hand was on a Bible.
really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, it doesn't.
No, that's not true. No Bible.
It doesn't have to be. What do you mean?
No,
You just
it wasn't.
imagined
There
it?
wasn't. Not on the school board, but there was in the judges' chambers when I became.
Well,
a
I don't
member of
think
the
that's
bar.
necessary.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
it's not.
not.
But presidents do it.
Yes, they do it. So anyway,
I know. Weird.
okay, I'm just going to give you 2 more things here. Okay?
Okay, I'm along for the ride.
One of the most popular pizza toppings in Brazil is what? Wasabi, corn, green peas, chocolate.
Chocolate.
On a pizza?
I don't know. I don't. Why not? It's either that or corn.
Celine is still mulling. You think it's corn too? Celine says corn too. Okay. I hate to tell you this. I have a picture. I'm looking at it. And man, if it ain't a shrimp and green pea pizza.
Well, no accounting for taste.
Jesus. Shrimp? Oh yeah. Oh, let's go get a pizza. What do you want?
Well, I'd like shrimp and pea.
Shrimp and peas. What?
Of course, I'm into
What?
the processed meat. My favorite pizza is and will always be just a plain pepperoni
Yeah,
pizza.
a good old pepperoni pizza.
Right.
Although now we know pepperoni is a death sentence. Right?
Well, not every once in a while. Everybody's been saying that.
This is
you can't
such
eat
bull.
hot dogs and pepperoni and salami and
Dot,
pastrami
you're
every
not-
day.
we
knew that.
then you
with
might-
bacon on top.
Right. But God, I'm sick of people trying to
No,
scare
and they
us.
I was listening to NPR unpack this whole ruling, and all the doctors going, well, the evidence for just red meat is much less, and, again, and then there's,
Yeah.
when they say all meat, they really aren't talking about chicken, pork, lamb.
No, but they're talking about the meat I love. Steak.
And by the way,
And
right,
burgers.
and by the way, we're not supposed to eat fish anymore either because
It's got
we're
mercury.
overfishing and we're killing them all. So pretty soon the recommendation is going to be tofu and vegetables, and that's going to be that. I mean, my daughter's already there. She said she looked at me, woefully, and started talking about the planet and could we please have one vegetarian meal a week? And I said, sure, you can have a vegetarian meal every day of the week. I'll just have a steak.
Right. You go right ahead, honey. Meanwhile, I'm getting myself a porterhouse. Yeah. And you know what I'm washing that down with? I'm washing that down with some red wine. Did you see about this comet? Did you see about the comet?
Oh, the comet that's making booze, right.
There's a
happy
comet.
hour. It's the happy hour comet.
I love this. There is a comet that is out there, and it's been named Comet Lovejoy. And this comet is spewing ethyl alcohol. That is, it's booze. It's spewing booze throughout the universe. And this was described in some kind of
It's sort
journal.
of the ice cream wagon of space.
Right. Listen to this. The data came from observations made in January when the comet was close to the sun, and it was giving off 20 tons of water per second. not just any water, but boozy, sugary water, spewing 20 tons per second. So here's the interesting thing, and more.
Well, if you're looking for a way to get me into space, that helps.
Well, the other thing is that, now that they found, water on Mars and this and that and all these things that they're starting to see, it is quite conceivable that that it's comets like this spewing this stuff all over that essentially are Johnny Appleseeds of the universe.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
That they are essentially seeding planets, and some of those seeds take and some don't. But man, if you ever wanted to hook a ride on a comet, this is your comet, guys. It's Comet Lovejoy. All right. So Susan, yesterday or something, I mentioned that I'd read something in, I think it was the New York Times, about this area in China where the culture is matrilineal, where women hold the power, where girls are desired, not boys, where women are considered not only smarter than men, but stronger than men, and where traditional marriage does not occur. Instead, a woman allows certain men, 1, 2, 3, however many she wants, to come to her bedchamber and pleasure her and possibly impregnate her, and then leave.
Boy, let's hitch a ride on the Comet and go there.
So, and did you also see the thing that they found that howler monkeys, and they think it's true too? They know it's true of gorillas, and so humans might not be far behind. That the deeper a man's voice, the smaller his penis. Well, that there's a trade-off often. If you have a deep voice that appeals to you, you often have a small penis. If you have a high voice, you often are well hung in the male world. Susan?
In monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In monkeys. I think that includes us.
Yeah, but I'm just...
It's not every monkey, because we happen to know. I'm just thinking, not that I ever saw our father.
I was thinking of our father's
I know,
voice,
that's what you immediately came to.
And our brother's traumatized.
Right, I know. Sorry, we sound disgusting here. My father had an extremely...
Well, it's one of our family stories.
Our father had an extremely beautiful and commanding, deep voice. But we have it on our brother's authority that he was humongously hung. And it so traumatized my brother as a child that...
They were at the YMCA in the locker room.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't just Dad that traumatized.
He was a little boy.
It was all of the old geezers walking around.
And the worst of all, Dan Betton, who appeared not to have a penis because his belly was
and you say the guy's
over.
Name, too.
Well, he's been dead for 50 years. Who cares?
Yeah.
You imagine a little boy among all those men, and he's looking...
Excerpts from the dinner table conversation of the Miller family.
Oh, God. All right, so anyway, my father was an exception to that. So now back to China and their difficulties with men and women. We know that the one child per family policy led to years and years and years of infanticide of female children and of all kinds of horror, right? And
Right.
resulted in the imbalance in the country of way too many men now and too few women. And because there is such a huge surplus of single men, in fact, let's put a number on it. China has estimated that in 5 years there will be 30 million single men in China. They're called guangan, which means bare branches. Aw. So there's 30 million bare branches wandering around in China because of And so women are sitting in the driver's seat there. In many ways.
They'll figure out a way for that not to be true.
Yeah, and here's how it is. So some academic in China has come up with an idea. He said many men, especially poor men, are unable to find a wife, and they are condemned to living and dying without offspring to support them in old age. But here's the solution. He believes that what you do is that men should share. Share women.
So backwards, it's polygamy, but the woman gets to have. The only problem with that is that she's expected to produce a child for each and every one.
Stop and think about it. That's not good. So here's what the academic wrote: with so many gangan, women.
You're just doing this whole thing so you can do that.
I don't know. I was with Sally Wiggin last night, and she has some facility with the Chinese, and when she always cracks me up when she says Chinese words because they all sound like that. Guanggang. So, with so many guanggang, women are in short supply and their value increases, this academic wrote. But that doesn't mean the market cannot be adjusted. It is actually a problem of income. High-income men can find a woman because they can pay a higher price.
This is from communist China.
Yeah. What about low-income men? One solution is to have several take a wife together. In some poor, remote places, brothers already are marrying the same woman. And polyandry, as they've called it, has been practiced in poor parts of China for years. Well,
as long as it's the woman's choice and not how you say gang rape.
Exactly right. So here's the thing. All hell has broken loose. He has been vilified on. Everybody is on this guy. He's not answering his phone anymore.
Because they don't approve?
Yeah. Here's, he says, I can't even. He's trying to defend himself. And he says, here's a women's rights activist. Men are publicly debating how to allocate women, as though women were commodities like houses or cars, in order to realize some grand political ideal originating from the patriarchal left or the patriarchal right. And then she went on to say, behind this imbalanced sex ratio lie 30 million baby girls who died due to sex discrimination. But somehow everyone's still crying that some men can't find wives. So there goes the feminists in China are being full-throated.
Eloquent.
Yes. There you go. Roger writes, he's wondering about the voice and penis thing because he's saying, geez, well then how did Disney manage to hide Mickey's obvious massiveness?
It was a
Well, I always wondered why Minnie had that.
A subconscious signal that Mickey had big balls.
Yeah. And, Minnie always had that goofy grin on her face, too. Yeah. What else I got? Oh, the science section. No, that wasn't in the science section. The Wall Street Journal has a piece today about earworms.
Yeah.
Songs that get stuck in your head.
The songs that get stuck as opposed to crawly things in your ears, yeah.
And the scientific...
You do earworm pieces rather frequently.
Do I? Well,
no, they do.
They do? Well, because somebody there must be susceptible. And some people are more susceptible than others. People who are a little obsessive-compulsive, and that is somebody who usually gets more of them. I get them, I don't know. So what it says is that the idea that we have control over our thought process is an illusion, because something can just take up residence.
Who has the illusion that they can control their own thoughts? Anybody that wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning knows that they can't control their own thoughts.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, they're talking about all of our inner jukeboxes. And it's during times of when we're not using our brains a lot. You're in the shower, you're getting dressed, you're just doing some chores. And that's when the mind can easily pick up an earworm. And no song gets queued up at random. Studies show that earworms tend to match people's moods, so that if you're feeling energized and upbeat, the earworm is going to be energized and upbeat too. So it all depends. I don't know. Yeah, people who are obsessive-compulsive are apt to have them more often and find them more intrusive. But the fact of the matter is that after all this research, they cannot even pinpoint where in the brain these earworms live. They don't know. All right. What else do I have? What? Margie's saying...
No, I'm sorry. I'm not a help. I haven't looked at a newspaper.
That's okay. That's okay. Margie is saying, man, a prostitute could make a mint in China. Well, yeah, except that what they're saying, though, is most of the men who are...
they're poor.
Bare-branched, don't have any money. There is the most horrific story in the sports page of the New York Times today that I fear to share it. But, of course, having said that, I will. A woman who is a well-known equestrian, in fact, it says here, a renowned American equestrian, on Sunday, early Sunday morning, went to her stables and wanted to check on one of her horses, and the horse was not in the barn, not in the stable. And she didn't get freaked. She just went out looking and looking and looking, and she found the horse. This glorious, beautiful animal. And she says he had been filleted.
I knew you were going to say that.
The slices were so deliberate and so well done that the moment you saw it, you thought, well, this was a professional butcher. And someone had led the horse out of its stable, and then plunged a knife into its heart, had left its head and shoulders, and had just, she said, just unbelievably filleted this animal. What the hell? She had just gotten him from France. She was intending to ride him in some competition. And what could they?
Someone's going to eat him. Sell him and eat him.
They say that there have been a few other instances recently in Florida. This was in Florida of of horses being found. Who would go and take a show horse? The discovery of the horse in a remote pasture added a new element in a string of recent crimes involving the killing of stolen livestock for meat in Florida. Yep. Most of the killings involved horses.
So it's someone from a community where horse meat is regularly eaten and enjoyed.
And they say the signs of an underground market in horse meat are growing. Can you imagine? So, I'm just saying, how the name of God could someone do such a thing?
Well, there are people that feel just that way about cows and lambs and goats,
I know. Oh. Oy. All right, Susan, which one of these is not a real food? Okay?
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm going to give you 4 things. 3 of them are eaten with gusto in places in the world. 1 is made up. Dry pork and seaweed donuts. I can tell.
I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Celine is a foodie, and she took that one in and didn't even bat an eye. You can see somebody. Oh yeah, man, dried pork and seaweed donuts. Yes, sirree. And sprinkle some green peas on it, and I'll tell you what, heaven. Okay. Second, Romulan, and I can't tell you what that is, and cheese ale. Romulan and cheese ale.
Okay. That's a candidate. Go ahead.
Third is lemon and pepper tang.
Lemon and pepper what?
Tang, T-A-N-G.
A-N-G, okay.
And the 4th is haggis and black pepper chips.
Oh, well, I go with 2.
Romulan and cheese ale?
Mm-hmm.
You are absolutely correct. That is not a food.
Right.
Who the hell would eat a dry pork and seaweed donut?
That sounds, it sounds some Asian cuisine.
Yes, it does.
And but what we're thinking of as a donut might not be what they're thinking of as a donut. It would be more like a knish.
Right. We're thinking a donut is sweet.
Right. And this is savory. Right.
And the haggis and black pepper chips, that's no big deal.
That's not even hard to imagine.
No. I mean, I was in Scotland a few years ago, and I had haggis. And I don't know what the big to-do about haggis is. It's fine. It's like a pate. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Related one. The century egg. That is a duck, a quail, or a chicken egg that has been preserved for weeks or months. And it's preserved in a mixture of, listen up, salt, clay, lime, ash, and rice hulls.
Mm-hmm.
The century egg is a delicacy. It's like a petrified egg.
Yeah, well,
It's a pickled egg. Is that a?
It's pickled. It's cooked. Like what you've got. You
It's
can
cooked
see what
in
you've
the.
got.
It's
Yeah.
It's the salt, clay, lime, ash.
Yeah.
Okay, the century egg, either a duck egg, quail egg, or chicken egg, is native to what country? And highly.
I'm going to say Thailand.
Well, of course, you're in the right vicinity, but
China. It's
yes,
one of those.
It's China. Yeah, that be China. And Susan, if you're in St. Petersburg and you're at the Hermitage,
Yeah.
The art museum.
You mean the St. Petersburg that's in across the pond as opposed to Florida?
Yes, that would be correct. Which animals would you be most likely to encounter while wandering around the museum? Would those be dogs? Would them be cats? Would them be bats? Or horses?
Well, I'm going to say bats.
Well, you'd be incorrect.
Yeah, well, yeah. Even as I said it, that's wrong because unless it were dusk, I wouldn't be encountering them. Cats.
Yes. Apparently, cats roam freely throughout the Hermitage.
Well, don't tell Mom; she won't go.
I think she has been there. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 countries. It is the country we're looking for is not only one of the most biodiverse in the world, but it is also the most linguistically diverse country in the world, with over 800 languages being spoken. Is it Indonesia, Nigeria, Brazil, or Papua New Guinea?
I don't think it's Papua. It could be Brazil, but I don't think so.
Well, then
what are the first 2?
You're down to Indonesia and Nigeria.
Oh, no, okay, I'm going to go back to Brazil.
Okay, you're wrong. Although a lot of people last night at this thing chose Brazil just because of all the Amazon tribes and
Right.
But you could have done the same thing with Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
Because that's the one. You got, every 10 feet there's another tribe with a different language.
Right.
Okay.
Geography's my worst subject.
Well, I mean, geography for Americans is, we're just hopeless. But the people at this thing are supposed to be a little more on top of stuff. There was a team from both our newspapers. There was a team from Carnegie Mellon. There was a team from, these were people who were...
So who won?
That's a good question. I can't even remember. But it wasn't... They were just a team from a business or something. A lot of young people won. I was surprised.
Yeah, well, they do a lot. My son and his wife used to, before they had a child,
right,
used to do trivia night all the time, and they would win a lot. But I think that they were smart about how they put together their team.
Yeah, you need people who handle all different kinds of areas. Right. So we just have a minute left, and I just want to do a call out to the Catholic Church again, specifically this group of cardinals and bishops who, according to Reuters, made an unprecedented joint appeal yesterday to the United Nations asking the UN to produce a truly transformational agreement to stem global warming. And they said this demands urgent action to save the planet from ruin. I mean, they're way up there with their language. Way
Cool.
up there. And so it says that these signatories represent all national and regional bishops' conferences, making it for the first time in living memory that a Catholic appeal to world leaders was, in fact, totally global. And they're saying if we don't move now, we're in big trouble. And listen to what the journal, scientific journal, warned about. And they took into consideration this. In the absence of significant mitigation, at least 5 of the Persian Gulf's great metropolises could see summer days that surpass the human habitability limit. So they're saying people will not be able to live in cities that they are living in now by the millions. And one of the cities they pointed out was Mecca, where summer temperatures will go so high that no human being, even the healthiest human beings, could not bear the temperatures for more than an hour or two. In other words, uninhabitable. And yet millions are already living in these places. Wow. You think you got a sea of migrating people now? I remember when they started telling us about global warming, climate change, and how these huge movements of people getting away from the rising oceans, getting away from
we're there.
heat.
New York City's there. I mean,
it is. I mean, it's just amazing. And there's still these friggin' fools in our country in a position to get in the way who say it ain't happening. God help us. All right. Well, on that happy note, I think that's it. One last question, Susan. Every year in August, people from around the world flock to the city of Buñuel for La Tomatina, where around 20,000 people hurl tomatoes at one another for an hour. You've seen pictures of this. What country is that?
Actually, no, I've never.
You haven't?
No.
I'll tell you, it's a country that has the craziest things like this. They're always doing something wild. Spain. You know,
right. If they aren't being chased down by bulls, they're throwing tomatoes at each other.
Yeah, 20,000 people just pitching tomatoes at each other. La Tomatina. So there you have it. All right, that's the end of that. For what it's worth.
I hope your boot comes off soon.
Yeah, well, I've been told it's another 10 days or so.
That's not bad.
No, not bad. It sure is lovely, though. Okie doke.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Suze. Bye, you guys. Talk at you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.